Hello everyone, my name is Relax and Panic, and this is another reaction to the Monogatari series. It is Owarimonogatari Season 2, and we are in my second recording, which might be episode 2 or 3, I have no clue. You know what to do, as always. If you want to see the reaction itself, just go down into my descriptions, follow the links, replace the circumflex dot parts with real dots, and enjoy. Once you've done, feel free to come back here and hear my thoughts about this episode, so see you soon. For those that came back, welcome back. Now, it was going so smooth and nice, and in the end we had the drop of the hammer, the name Ogi again. And I still have no clue why. So let's go through it. I like it. It was a very calm episode, a relaxed episode, and emotional, but all very slow and nice, you know? No much of a tear dropping here. But I like it because it's mainly about, again, about the relationship between Araki and Senjougahara. And that's something I kind of missed since a while already. I mean, she is, or should be, a major part of his thoughts, being the girl that he chooses. Or, I mean, there's something you can discuss, who choose whom here, but in the end he fought for her, and he clearly states in this episode as well that she is the one he loves above the others, you know. And we have seen in the movies that we've just watched before the relationship between him and Hanekawa, which is clearly one that could be a relationship of being a couple as well. We have seen him with other girls, optional as well. So they play with that, the Araki harem from time to time, the idea, the concept of it. But it was always her that was in the center once he decided to be with her. So she is special, at least to him. So it was a bit strange that she was not so much in the story itself. In many ways, she, apart from the one story where her burden was lifted, was not much in the main storyline. She did not had anything in the end to do with vampires, supernatural things, and everyone else. She was on the sidelines, at least it felt like. But she is without question a major player because she grounds Araki. She is able to handle his emotions and everything. So I think it's time that we have a bit more of her in the show. So I'm fine with that. We had a little monologue of him in the beginning, which I really liked. It brought in a lot of philosophical things again about love and about self-love, for sure. Being afraid to love. That's something I really like that they pointed that one out. The fear of loving someone, in the fear of things changing. I mean, there are the concept of not wanting things to change, to be safe, is something that is very common, and we have had that in series and movies in the past. Just remembering as example the Steward of Gondor in Lord of the Rings, or the old elves that didn't want to change stuff. Yes, I have a background in stuff like that. Sorry, interest. But this idea that there are always people who don't want things to change is a typical thing. And not only in movie and series, you can see it in everyday life. Not judging here and not opening up drawers in general, but as example, there are often people who don't want things to change in their neighborhood. So as example, they don't want a hotel to be built. They don't want that there's a new kindergarten across the street, or that there's new houses for more or less privileged people compared to them. They want to stay in the same way they lived all the time, because it is less stress. You don't have to adapt. If everything stays the same, you know how to handle it. And this fear that something changes is something we all know. So love changes clearly everything. I mean, those of us who have had the privilege of enjoying to be in love with someone in the past know that it turns your whole world upside down, and normally you don't even realize it. I know it's this thing of like, I have my favorite hobbies, and I have some friends, and I have work. That's my time. You know, I have a schedule. Everything is more neither scheduled in. Then I have a bit of free time for, as example, stuff like this here, right? So that's it. The moment when you fall in love, the moment when you have someone in your life who's more important than anyone else in this case, so here's Senjougahara, this schedule is out of the window. I mean, you possibly still go to work, and you try to meet your friends, but you have less time for your friends. You have less time for your hobbies. And the weirdest thing about this, if it is really going well, you don't even care, because it still feels good. That's what love is. And yeah, you can be afraid of that, you know? The fear of losing yourself in it. Talked a lot about that one. Now, to the next one. Can I love myself like I love her? Hard? I mean, that question was a good one in the end of his monologue. I think it is way harder to love yourself than anyone else, because you know everything about yourself, even the dark sides, and you don't know those from many others. You tend not to see the dark sides as easily because we hide them in front of other people. So, but if you are able to, congratulations. Now they want to go out on a date and have a date which is worth 6 months of missed dates. I mean, that's a big shot. That's a big call. He has. The good thing is, it felt in the beginning like he had to prepare the dates. But as we see now, it is more the other way around. She prepared things and wanted to go on a date with him, and he just has the time. I'm not sure if I'm right there. So that's kind of okay. And in the end, in the evening, her father will be around. Okay, so a scheduled day, no question there. But I can see why she asked for that. Right now, his vampire problems have gone, at least temporarily. He, as it seems now, has finished his exam, and from what he said so far, towards Ononoki as example, it did not go bad. It did possibly not go super fantastic, otherwise he would have been different in his attitude. But it did not go bad either, so I guess he will pass. Although Ononoki is poking him a little bit there about... Was it him? Was it her? I think it was her. About not making it. So yeah, best time for a date. Why not? Especially because, you know, after they passed, they will have to think about... I mean, they should have thought about that before. Where to go next. Which school... I mean, they talked about it, possibly the same one, or going to work, stuff like that. Time will be less free as it is now. And then we have the skip to Ononoki. So, 2 sentences about Ononoki. She's moving again. I mean, she didn't move when the sister used her, so sure. And she's reading a book by herself. I remember that the question was... What will happen with her? Thus, Kagenui is gone. Kagenui? I think I'm wrong. Not Kagenui. Give me a second. Yes, it is Kagenui. Damn it, I did it correct. So, thus she has her, let's call master, not around. She could either just do her job, which will be protecting the house, or it might happen that she will evolve more and more into a human being, in the meaning of that she develops own ideas and enough consciousness. I mean, she already has, but you know what I mean, and inner strength to not need a master anymore, to be able to get rid of the bonds and chose her own way, which might be dangerous and entertaining. So seeing her reading on herself, maybe there's something like that happen by now, just maybe. For sure, she had a nice conversation with Araki about having to stay at his side all the time now. So if he goes to a new house, she will follow. And they did this little moment there, this little minute, more like 10 seconds, where they just switched the faces of the girls he is married to. So, once again, the harem in full effect. Like that. I like that they point out her relationship to Kishot. I mean, we had that in the past. The two of them really were clinching with each other. They really had problems. I'm not sure how real those problems were. I don't know if there's a real hate between those two. I don't think so. But for sure, thus Kishot is now in full control again, in full power again, full-fledged vampire. It is very, very likely that she would win in the fight against Ononoki. I mean, she did in the past already, right? And so I guess her idea of learning how to be polite is a good one. Maybe should go with that. She's, however, not in the shadow of Araki anymore, so she's hanging out at Gaen's place. Right now, she seems relaxed. The question is where she's going for. I mean, she may be relaxed for now, but she will get bored sooner or later as well. And then we have a full-grown vampire female, Hard Underblade, being bored. Possibly not a good idea. Little sis comes in, takes out her plushie. Okay, so she has a favorite toy now. I find it interesting that she feels sympathy towards it. I mean, she was kind of killed by Ononoki in the past. I ask myself if she somehow feels the connection of being supernatural towards each other. Just guessing. And she has a new best friend, which is weird because it's Nadeko. So what's going on there? She got told something from Nadeko which she did not tell to Araki what it was. So it might be something really major or something completely unimportant. We don't know. But it gives me the hope that maybe, just maybe, we will see a bit of Nadeko again and of her career, which she's trying to have now, which would be nice. So that they bring her in at least a little bit in the storyline. And now we are at the date. So, Senjougahara made herself look at least a bit like Hanekawa. I don't know what to think about that. As I said, this triangle they have there is a weird one. And I really have to question her reasons. I mean, I guess she's pretty sure about the fact that Araki is loyal. And she loves him, and she is, I think, very sure that he loves her as well, as we know. She's aware that Araki, being not only the loving guy that he is, but additionally the creep that he is, fancies Hanekawa in a very bodily way, as well as a mental way. I mean, there's no question. We know that Araki likes the outer appearance of Hanekawa, to say so, but he is in awe of her mental options, of her cognitive functions, to say so, as well. So, bodily, she kind of gave like a little bit of role player option there for him. But still it is weird. You know, if you're in a relationship with someone and you know the other one fancies another person, and you dress like that person just for a date, especially, you know? I don't know. I mean, what the heck. However, they are playing with each other in a weird way all the time, so no clue here. She got a driver's license, I like that, so she was bored. That's the reason. I mean, sure, she could have learned more for school in this time, but she didn't need to, so being bored, she decided to do something instead, and so she went for a driver's license, being aware that Araki will never have one because he's not able to appear on a photo being a vampire, which changed now. So that makes sense, and I kind of like it. Because she thinks for him, you know, how to help him as well. It's not only about her, it's about him as well. And they go for the planetarium. I already mentioned it during the reaction. That I think this is like a perfect option, seeing that they had this date below the stars, watching the stars. So going to the planetarium is a good option, is a really fitting, felt like second date, you know? We get a bit information about Hanekawa that she found Oshino, or I mean, she said she found where he was hiding. She found out where he was hiding. Not sure if she really found him. But I don't get the reverse idea there. I mean, it's more like where isn't he, and thus maybe she narrowed it down, but I'm not really sure. And this one with the, I think it was a pen. No idea. So I feel there was Araki who's like, I have no clue. Last but not least, so this one here. I don't have any real idea what this may point out to. Senjougahara is in geoscience study. So she's about stellar objects, the universe, possibly even a bit of dark matter theory, stuff like that. But in general, how is the Milky Way constructed? Stars, how are they working? And everything that is outside of Earth in the end. And how does Earth fit in there? So that's okay. And she states that a space map looks or has the shape of a handfan. That one. And if I got that correct, the Japanese word for handfan is ogi. So Oshino ogi. Multiple options here, because I stopped directly after. So one thing is, she is aware of Oshino Ugi being somehow important now for, let's call it, the storyline of Araki's life. And by putting in this talk, which she kind of was able to stir to, she brought in the handfan word and maybe wants to see if Araki reacts, tells something to her, you know. I mean, he knows some stuff now that she doesn't. The question here is, you know, if you're in a relationship, how much do you tell to your partner about your life in general? Do you tell everything? So he could right now open up about that. The Ugi problem. That's one option. So she knows about Oshino Ugi somehow being miraculously a thing. Or she knows something about Oshino Ugi and wants to tell him, which I don't think. Or they bring in here background information, what or who Oshino Ugi is, by using Senjougahara and her geoscience. Where I really have no clue how. I mean, she's not a handfan. So much is for sure. I mean, those arms were always hanging, so maybe she has handfans in there. Might be. I'm not really sure. However, Araki did not react here. So waiting for the next one, if maybe just maybe there's more into that, or they just play with words here. And if so, why? I think that's it for now. Looking forward to the next episode, because right now it's very smooth and nice. I would like to have a real nice date here, so why not? And that's it from me this time. I hope you liked. I did for sure. And until the next time, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. And until then, my name is Relax and Panic. Goodbye and out.